was like, shit, I'm dying. And that's actually true. I was like, I'm dying.
The immigrants will work because they have nothing.
Yeah.
My grandparents came from war. They came from war. They didn't have food, they didn't have water, they didn't have clothes, they didn't have shoes. 9 of them slept together in one little bedroom, or not even a bedroom, a barn, beside the animals in hay. I don't believe that God doesn't see, that God misses anything that you do with your life. You might be put in a really tough situation. You might be in the wrong country at the wrong time, but it's never really the wrong time.
Yeah.
And our labor board does not take care of. We could be yelled and screamed at, sworn at, fired on the spot, and like owners could just do whatever they want, especially if you work for a private company.
Yeah. Or maybe a student getting out of school or university, he's looking for a job. But
It's all service work. You see, to find a tradesman now, to find someone to come fix your plumbing is difficult. Got the one spoiled kid whose parents pay for everything, pave their way in life, and they don't appreciate anything, right?
Mhm.
And then you have another kid who they got to work double for everything they have, and they appreciate every penny and every tear dropped, every sweat that came out. I did have a cousin who passed away more recently. He was young. He worked in construction, and they were operating illegally. And the thing is if you're the Poindexter, who says, this is not safe, blah, 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 it's like, get rid of this guy, right? We're all physically attracted at first, and we think that that's it. Oh, they're nice. Oh, they're good looking. Oh, they work hard. These aren't the questions you ask.
Yeah.
The person you're going to live with the rest of your life and be attached to and have kids, The families intertwine, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do they treat your mother? How do they treat your father?
Yeah.
What are your values? Why do you need a big, gigantic home?
Yeah.
So you can host people. Who are you really working for? And I think at the end of the day, ask yourself that. So I got into holistic nutrition because I genuinely care about people, and I want to help them feel better, look better, get better.
Yeah. Let's welcome Val. Welcome to the show, Val.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's actually a pleasure. When I was thinking to, about my guest, and I was like, oh, okay, let's do something change because all my podcast for now it's in Punjabi, right? Because the reason of these podcasts is to bring some stories for my community to bring awareness because there's so many topics that we can talk about and that we like so many people in my community they're not aware of it one thing, right? But when we talk about Canada, we actually I like it's my thing that you guys have a lot to say because you grew up here, you born here, right? You know what changes Canada faced, or what after these all immigrants, either it's Indian, either it's Punjabis or different communities, right? But there is so many changes. Even I saw so many changes in the last 6 years, right? So there must be so many things that you guys experienced in your in your journey, right? So welcome to the show. I know you have a lot to say today, but let's start from your journey in Canada. I know your grandfather was an immigrant.
My father too.
Father
my father,
too.
but he came here when he was really young.
So you're the second generation?
First and second. Mother was born here,
Okay.
raised by very immigrant parents.
Okay.
Father was an immigrant, but he came here young enough, so he spoke English fluently
Yeah.
as well. So he was able to navigate a little bit quicker and a little bit easier than somebody who immigrated a little bit later in life.
Oh, okay. So I know there's so many changes from last 10 years because of immigrants, yes, and because of even there's so many changes because of I think the social media. Then there's work environment has been changed because different communities entered the work life, right?
I think it's no secret that real estate is through the roof. So
Yeah.
I'm 36 years old, so here I am in my prime.
Yeah.
I finally make decent money. I'm decent in my career. I'm Anmol's big boss.
You are.
And I can't afford a home in Toronto. Like, this is a major thing for generations my age and just even a little younger.
Yeah.
People who are either single or even freshly married, who want to start families, who need the space.
Of course.
Where are we living?
I know.
Cost of rent is through the roof. One bedroom apartment starting at 22 to 2,400, Canadian a month. That doesn't include insurance, doesn't include gas.
Yeah.
And you have these people from other countries who, they're leaving their country to come here for a better opportunity. And it's like, It's not a better opportunity. You're going to work double and
Yeah.
be able to afford nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I do find is that the standard of living with a lot of the immigrants is different from the standard of living of Canadians that grew up here. Whether they're Punjabi Canadian, Italian Canadian like myself, the standard of living is different. Myself, I could speak for myself. Like, you know, it'd be nice to be married and have children and have, you know, three bedroom townhome, you know, with a basement and a backyard, right? This is the ideal, you know,
Life standard.
life standard,
Yeah.
right? Where I find a lot of the immigrants, you know, they've come from maybe war-torn countries or
Yeah.
countries where governments didn't care at all about them, and they're willing to do everything and anything. They work together, you know. 10 of them will live in a 2-bedroom home altogether.
Yeah.
The standard of living is different. You can't do that forever though, because families have to expand.
But I think that is not. Yes, that is because we don't know how the back home is, or how their government is taking care, or how they grew up in their life. But there's another reason. There's no accommodations. There's no houses, even for rent.
No.
There's no. Forget about houses. There's no even single rooms. You cannot even find a room.
No.
I think a lot of immigrants facing right now. But do you think you guys also face this? Like being a Canadian?
No. Not being, my grandparents did though. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandparents immigrated in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
They're Italian. They came here, no English. My grandfathers, both sides, mom and dad, came alone.
Mm-hmm.
They got married, and the wives had to stay back home. Husbands came here, kind of paved the way. No English. You know, they had a curfew at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
They had to come in trades. So one grandfather was a plumber, the other one was a carpenter. They helped industrialize and build Canada, build Toronto for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
My family particularly.
Yeah.
But me, I'm spoiled. I'm born and raised here.
Yeah.
You know, I know the language. I know how to navigate. Schooling, obviously, up until the end of high school is free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas I see, you know, immigrants come in, they got to pay double. They got to pay
Oh, I
double
think
to
it's,
go.
it's we're paying about $18,000-$19,000 for 1 year program.
And here's the one thing I wanna say, and it's psychology really. It's how hard are you willing to work for what you want? You know, you got the one spoiled kid whose parents paid for everything, pave their way in life, and they don't appreciate anything, right?
Mhm.
And then you have another kid who they got to work double for everything they have, and they appreciate every penny and
Yeah.
every you know tear dropped, every sweat that came
Yeah.
out, you know, and they work for it.
But you don't think so? That should motivate against the like a Canadian kids or who are being spoiled with their family money or whatever it is. But I think they should be motivated with seeing a students like me who have to pay for their tuition fee, have to go for the part-time job, even the full-time job, do 2 3 jobs at the same time, and
Can I, sorry to
yeah.
interrupt you. Do you want to know what motivated me to go to school?
Mhm.
I was 19 years old working at Walmart. I didn't go to post-secondary. I finished high school. I had low self-confidence. I'm not sure, you know, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
I didn't come from a very privileged household. Okay, we struggled a lot.
Yeah.
Even though they were Canadians, my father was sick. Most of my life didn't really work. We were on welfare at one point. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't exactly an entitled child, but I didn't go to college right away because it's like I'm not going to spend all this money and I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I was in Walmart and I remember I was in the orientation being hired, and 2 Indian girls,
Mm-hmm.
one of them with barely any English, was in her second year of engineering here in Toronto. And I thought, if this girl here who doesn't know English can go and study, I can go try something. And I will tell you that actually motivated me to go and apply, and I ended up going to business school.
And that's actually a proud moment for us, because when we come to Canada, or when we come here with so many responsibilities, right? And when we see people from back home owning big companies, running the big shows here, that actually motivates us, being an Indian, that, oh, okay, the same person from my country is here now. They came here probably not on study visa, they probably came on work visa or whatever it is, right? But now they're killing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to Brampton, all those big businesses. You go for the trucking companies, all those big businesses.
So what I find, and anyway, every community has their thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I was saying it to you earlier. So my people, they got into construction. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't have the language, but they had the trades behind them, the trade skills. So you know, my father followed his father. He was a plumber. Most of the men in my family are carpenters. They build buildings, they build houses. My brother's a taper. Um, the Punjabis and a lot of the Indians, they came here and they started driving trucks. And it was like, wow, I can bring in $10,000 a month and support my whole family.
Of course.
And they called everyone, come over here and come drive. Like, you can have a life over here in Canada.
I know.
And then from there they built, right? They bought trucks, they built, and a lot of them have been successful.
Yeah.
That was all good. That was all fine and dandy a couple of years ago. Now the market's just flooded. Everyone's in construction.
Yeah.
Everybody's in transportation.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the overpopulation now, right? I can only speak for Toronto.
Yeah.
But there's an overpopulation, and it's like you said, there's nowhere to even live.
Yeah.
Let alone the good paying jobs, and it's very competitive.
But I think it's not competitive in real life. It's actually competitive in your work life. You see now, it's too hard to get a job, first thing, right? And not even immigrants, I think maybe you as a Canadian, you are sometimes afraid of changing your job, or, just, you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, if I'm going to get a job or not, right? So that work life also changed a lot in past few years, or maybe after COVID as well, no?
I can speak for myself. So
Yeah.
when I first started, I was willing to do anything, and I even offered to work for free. And I remember the CEO of the company being like, "No, you're not going to work for free. We're going to pay you." But I was, fresh out of, post-secondary. I wanted to get in. I really wanted to prove myself. And I spent many, many years doing that.
Yeah.
Like I said, now I'm kind of at the height of my career, a little bit more confident. I have the connections,
Yeah.
right? It is a little different.
But you build those connections, no?
Yes.
It's just, I think the trucking industry or the logistics is all about connections. Even the work life is about. Here in Canada, like, it's all about, I think, referral jobs, or you say it's your network that you can get a job,
Yeah.
right? So many. Actually, when I got my first job, um, I went and I just, drop off in person my resumes. But when I got my second job, I didn't even give my resume. If I see now even the job that I'm doing right now, it's a referral job,
Referral, yeah.
right?
You build your name for the better or for the worse.
Yeah, of course. No, but I think that's right, but that at the same time that's wrong as well. Like a people, or maybe a student getting out of school or university, he's looking for a job. But
It's all
there's,
service work. You see, to find a tradesman now, to
Yeah.
find someone to come fix your plumbing is difficult.
of course,
And the charge is through the roof because everybody now went to university. Everybody studied, business, and it's like we don't have any more tradesmen. We don't
Yeah.
have any of the hard, the laborers. They're it's slim
so
to
we're
none.
I think we're too comfortable for the jobs, for the service jobs, no?
I think it's 80% of the industry is service work. No, yeah.
But then, talking about work life, what changes you have been experiencing in this? Not only on your in your industry, you have your family in real estate, you have your family in construction, plumbing, and all those different industries, right? So, what you think the work life is going towards? Like, what changes you have been experiencing?
Well, people are a little bit more entitled. I would say that. There's a lot more workers' rights. Whereas, I did jump many companies because I was abused.
Yeah.
And our labor board does not take care of. We could be yelled and screamed at, sworn at,
Yeah.
fired on the spot, and like owners could just do whatever they want, especially if you work for a private company,
Yeah.
right?
But if you are saying that, so think about our people like us that move from another country,
Yeah.
that we and on social media. I don't know if you follow some. There's some Indian. Actually, you sometimes share some videos for Indian influencers, or so like on
Bollywood stars.
Bollywood stars, right?
Priyanka Chopra, your sister. I'm joking.
So there's so many stories that comes on social media, so these employees being abused by their employers, right? So what your thought?
Yeah. Well, again, my grandmother, she came here, she was working in a factory. My boyfriend's grandmother, 16 hours a day. The immigrants will work because they have nothing.
Yeah.
My grandparents came from war. They came from war. They didn't have food, they didn't have water, they didn't have clothes, they didn't have shoes. 9 of them slept together in one little bedroom, or not even a bedroom, a barn, beside the animals in hay.
Really?
This is, my grandmother was telling me just the other day. I never even had water, she said. I'd have to walk miles and miles to grab water, and I'm sure you've heard it in many different other immigrants.
Yeah.
That's what they came from. So they came here and they're like, 16-hour days, sure, no problem.
Oh yeah.
And they worked. But they were abused. They worked in the factories because, well, entitled people are not going to do that. They want to work the 8-hour day, have, their lunch, have their rights, have whatever it is, right? Their vacation.
Yeah.
Here, let me tell you a story.
Mm-hmm.
When my grandfather,
Yeah.
he was on his deathbed, and I was there, and I was crying, and I'm watching him. I don't know if he's going to take his last breath any moment.
Yeah.
Probably, like he's not going to make it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother patted me. She said, "You got to go to work tomorrow. You should go sleep." And I was like, you really think I'm going to go to work? Like, he's going to pass away.
Yeah.
And I was like, work. Because that's their mentality. Like, someone dies, move on with your life, keep going. Here, my dog died. I can't go to my exam. I can't do this. Like, it's very different. We're very sensitive. I don't know if it's worse or not.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is that my grandmother, who came from war,
Yeah.
I've seen her cry once, and that was at her husband's funeral. Like, that was it.
Right.
And then there's me. I have panic. I have anxiety. Like I don't know where that comes from, but maybe the food supply for sure.
Yeah.
The standard of work is different.
But I think it's all around us. We're talking about being abused on the word, and I think like a person like me, this year I will have my vacation. It's the first time in the last 6 years that I will have a paid vacation. In all last my 5 years or whatever it is, I'm working. I don't even know what this paid vacation is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, when my first job was in restaurant, right? So I was getting tips and all that. At the same time, I'm hearing stories from other people. Oh, you're getting tips? Oh no, we don't get tips. We get tips, but employer doesn't even give us the tips, right? That goes in their pocket. So many examples. And even you go to Brampton or you go to, like highly occupied space like GDA, like you will see so many people working low under their wage, right? Even when I was in
And they're
this.
willing to. This is the point. Their
Yes.
standards are lower because they've been through more.
Yeah.
My standards are not there. I'm like, hell no. I want this, and I want 3 weeks of vacation. I want blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. My standards are different because of how I was raised.
Actually, I was talking to the guy yesterday. He's working in the same company from last 10 years. I said, when are you going for vacation?
Right.
He was like, what vacation?
Yeah. Oh, I could not tell my grandmother I was on vacation.
Really?
No, my God, no. She's like, vacation, go to work. These holidays, like Easter Monday, or no. The only day you would have off is Christmas Day. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the immigrants actually operate like that. I did work for a Russian company at one point, and we didn't get any days off. And it was against the labor board.
Yeah.
That was against Canada's labor board.
But who cares?
No, and if you open your mouth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did have a cousin who passed away more recently. He was young. He worked in construction, and they were operating illegally.
Yeah.
And the thing is if you're the Poindexter, who says, this is not safe, blah, 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 it's like, get rid of this guy. Just get someone in who will do the job. And so he just shut up, and he worked, and he ended up dying. He ended up getting killed by the unsafe,
Really? So, but now I think, okay, real estate is over the roof right now.
And also flooded.
Flooded.
Kind of like logistics.
Logistics too.
Sorry to go off topic, but I am going to.
Yeah.
Dining in right now is down by 9%. Nobody's going to eat.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit in. They're doing Uber Eats.
Yeah.
They're becoming more and more antisocial. You go to restaurants, you can get in. The same restaurants that you'd wait like a couple of days for reservations, you're getting in, no problem.
Yeah. I think after COVID, that has been changed a little bit. There was a big impact on food industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Trucking was killing it. COVID time, like we were making, I think double the triple the amount of money that we used to make on the loads.
Yeah.
But there was impact, yes, but that was a positive impact on trucking. Right?
Yeah.
But
people became millionaires during that time.
right?
Yeah.
But what is your advice to immigrants or students working like me, working 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day. What you like, you definitely have so much to say to kids like us, because when I was working with you, you always, motivate me, or you always tell me, okay, just, you have to be suited booted all the time. You don't know who you are sitting with, who you're talking to. So, what is your advice for us?
So my advice is going to be a little spiritual,
Okay.
because I'm very spiritual. So I genuinely love people. So when I see them, I don't believe that God doesn't see, that God misses anything that you do with your life. You might be put in a really tough situation. You might be in the wrong country
Yeah.
at the wrong time,
Yeah.
but it's never really the wrong time. Every challenge teaches you.
Mm-hmm.
Adversity is a real thing, what you can get over.
Yeah.
Would I say that Canada is the best country to come and immigrate to right now? Maybe Alberta. Then again, I don't know if the best universities are out in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming here to study, yes, get your Canadian or your American degree,
Yeah.
because it's recognized
Mhm.
universally. It's recognized. It's sad to say, it is.
Yeah.
I have friends of mine who their parents came here from India, and they're pharmacists and they're doctors and they're engineers, and they're here working at Walmart. It's
Yeah.
just not recognized, right?
Yeah.
Yes, work hard for that education, get it, but pay attention to again real estate. Pay attention to the economy. Just like you immigrated from there to here, you might have to immigrate from here somewhere else. I am born and raised here, and I said to my boyfriend, and he's even contemplating, like, we might have to eventually leave the country.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I love my family, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, oh my God, am I going to be part of like another mass immigration,
Yeah.
going to the U.S. or going to I don't know even where in the world,
Yeah.
right? Where can we where can we live where we can raise a family, and or I work hard, I make good money, and I have nothing to show for it. Because
Yeah.
what are we affording?
Yeah.
The average household, in order to own a home here in Toronto, needs to make $300,000. $300,000. That's insane.
That's insane. Yeah.
That's insane. Even 10 years ago, that's a lot of money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, what would I say? Yeah, work hard. Pray, ask for what you want, be smart about it.
Yeah. But I think,
Don't just follow the crowd.
yeah.
Because all your cousins and friends, they all moved to Canada. There's this big opportunity. What I'm seeing another mass immigration of Italians come in.
Mhm.
They're coming from Italy to be here and be bartenders and servers. You're not going to make anything much. It's not something you can do the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right?
But I think the faith in God,
Hmm.
I think it's decreasing. No.
They're slowly trying to remove God from our schools,
Yeah.
from our. I don't. I couldn't really comment too much on it, because maybe I'd be controversial or I'd be offending.
Mhm.
I don't want to offend anyone. It is a Christian country. We do have a lot of everybody coming in, and
Yeah.
I know that we're kind of the country's always been accepting of everyone. They've allowed everyone to kind of practice their faiths.
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, Ruling the country biblically
Yeah.
has kept a lot of things in line. They're slowly removing it,
Yeah.
and now we have a lot of confusion.
But I think, yes, you're right. But at the same time, we recently, um, Indian scientists, we sent some satellite to moon. Great achievement, and actually I'm proud of it. But the thing is, now, okay, we have this planet here, Earth. We can play. We can do whatever we want to do. Fine. We're going to another planet. That there's some probably other reason for that planet. Now we're entering another territory or another, planet to make human. We're trying to find water there. We actually found water there, human life there, whatever it is. I think this Earth is okay. No,
Mm-hmm.
we're living okay.
But it's an innate. It's in us to always want to explore,
Yeah.
right? To grow, to learn, curiosity.
Mhm.
I think it's a beautiful thing because I laugh when people say, "Oh, you're smart." I'm not smart. The person who created electricity,
Yeah.
that person's smart.
Of course.
The person who created a car, created engines, created the internet. Like those people to me are like next level. But what do you think they were doing? They were exploring. They were being creative. They had an
Mhm.
idea. They jumped on it. Right? Something that
Yeah.
everyone probably told them, "Oh, you're crazy."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But
And
some of those inventions, people like us,
Mm.
we're using them. We're actually
still, I have trouble using them.
right.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes we think why we're even using this. We're too addictive. Even it's scrolling down, you know, um, using car or whatever it is. We're going gym to
And then
walk,
driving.
driving, just to walk there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the internet, yeah, is a huge thing. It's crazy because it's like I love the amount of information that I have at my fingertip.
Yeah.
Anything I want to know, I've Googled. Don't check my history at work, please don't. I Google the most random things. You know,
Yeah.
like today I was like, what does the gallbladder do again? What does your gallbladder do? What happens if I need it removed? This was a thought that came to me, and I decided to, and the internet will tell you.
And they will tell you, like, they will give you the book.
Yeah, they give you the book.
Like,
Yeah.
you just go through it.
Yeah. Here's another thing that's controversial
Mhm.
that I noticed. Yes, the internet gives you a lot of information, but a lot of it is screened. Not all of it's true, and some of the information is left out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I'd always say, so for instance, I'm studying holistic nutrition.
Yeah.
I'm studying it because I watched my father sick most of my life. I think that a lot of his lifestyle and eating habits could have changed his outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm studying it. I'm learning all about anatomy, the human body, what foods help, what foods kill,
Mm-hmm.
everything else that kills, including the internet. And what I'm reading versus what I'm Googling is not, there's a lot of things, right? Some of the things I'm reading is like, this will save you. And you go and Google it, and it's like, here's the side effects. You could die, you could have a swollen heart, you could, there's a lot of scary things that
Yeah.
Google
I
kind
actually have a story of mine, actually. So I was living just by myself in Milton. So when I moved in, I bought a bed sheet from Walmart, right? Then now I moved in. We were actually in the same company. This was my last company. So
I remember this. Which one?
yeah. So what happened now? After a week or so, I'm looking at my hand. I'm looking at my ankles. It's becoming blue. Blue? Okay, for a day or two, I'm okay. Okay, whatever it is. But then I wash my hands. The colors goes off. Then after again hour or so, I again have the blue color. After a week or so, I'm just Friday night. I'm watching a movie, and then now I was like, oh my god! Now it's on my feet. This blue color is actually getting to my body now. I was like, what? So I was the landlord of that house. She was nurse. So I just went downstairs for water and I asked her, oh, I'm just turning blue. She says, you're turning blue? Why? I was like, I don't know. Like, this is what happening from a week. Now, like, today, it's actually, worse. So she was like, I don't know. Then she Googled it. She Googled it. Google says, oh, you can get a heart attack. Your nerves are, shrinking and all that. She's like, she mentioned it to me. And I was like, shit, I'm dying. And that's actually true. I was like, I'm dying.
You're dying.
I I ran to my room, pick up my health card. I was actually living right opposite to the hospital, Milton Hospital. I went to hospital. I waited for 4 or 5 hours in emergency. Finally, I got my turn. Right now, doctor came in. He's like, "Oh, what happened?" I was like, "Oh, I'm turning blue." He's like, "You're turning blue? Why?" It's like this must be something. Like this is like nobody can turn blue. I was like, "No, I wash my hand. It goes off." And then I was like, okay. He took a wipe. He wiped my hand. He's like, oh, what you were wearing today? I was like, black jeans or some other shirt. I was like, okay. Socks? I said, white. Okay. Then what's the color of your bed sheet? I said,
Oh my
blue.
god.
He said, blue. Then this color is coming from your bed sheet, from where you bought. I said, Walmart. And then I came back to my room. I did this. My hand is blue.
Oh, cheap,
So,
cheap Walmart.
so it took me, I think, a week just to know that my bed sheet, the color from my bed sheet is coming off, and the Google is telling me I'm probably dying. Right?
That's hilarious. Oh my god.
Working from home is a new trend.
Yeah, everyone wants it.
Right?
I don't like it, but
Me either, actually.
yeah.
Right?
Once in a while. You know?
Yeah, but like, so working from home, what is your thought on it? Like, what do you think it is?
So, I can only compare it to my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
When COVID first hit, I was working for a company where I hated my boss.
Mm-hmm.
Micromanaged me, sat beside me, watched everything, and I had anxiety going into work. When you go to work and you just feel like you're being hovered over, and you're being micromanaged. It's different. So
Yeah.
when I didn't do very well when I was in office, but then I got put to work from home and I flourished. And he goes, "Wow, Val, you're a rock star." And I go, "Yeah, because I don't have anyone breathing down my neck."
Mm-hmm.
So you have that autonomy to kind of be you,
Yeah.
right? And you're in the comfort of your own home. I slept like 9 hours every night. I worked
Yeah.
out in nature. I worked, and then COVID was happening, so I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'd just go for a walk, and I'd make my dinner, and that was my night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas now I work for a company I love
Yeah.
and with people I love, and I will work from home once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
But those are days when I'm really not feeling well and I just need a little bit of comfort of my house.
Mm-hmm.
But I like going in, so because I don't have that same anxiety. I'm also someone who thrives on interaction,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No, but I think that actually helps to grow a person with their social life. You talk to a person, you go to work, you talk to your colleagues. I think you learn a lot more things rather than sitting at home just doing your job, just attending all this, Zoom meetings or Teams meetings. I think there's a big difference, no?
I mean, it's happening in most industries. I mean, even when you go to work, you go to shop at the grocery store, everything's self-checkout now, right? They're trying to automate a lot of things.
Yeah.
Our industry, logistics, a lot of it's done over email and the phone. So it works
Yeah.
for us
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't agree with me. They think that's the way of the future. I think at the end of the day, we all are all human and we look for that interaction.
Yeah.
But without even realizing it, it's disrupting us, Like, for instance, dating,
Yeah.
online dating,
Yeah.
Before we used to go to a bar, everyone was kind of looking around to see who's making eye contact,
Yeah.
who's into it, who's ready to mingle. And now you go to the bar and everyone's
On their phones.
right. They're at a bar and they're looking and they're swiping through their dating apps.
Yeah.
And it's like I think it's a false advertisement or it's a false reality
Mm-hmm.
because it's almost like, oh well, you know what? For instance, you dated someone before, you didn't meet 10 people in between.
Yeah.
You just met that person and you either got along with them or you didn't, and it didn't work or it did. And it wasn't like I'm gonna get rid of you and go to the next best thing and have 5 people that I could talk to 2 minutes later, because you literally can do that now.
Yeah.
You could literally go and open an online dating and just scope to see who's in and around. Someone catches your eye, you strike up a conversation with them. It's that easy.
Yeah.
The reason I say it's a false reality is that person's also talking to 10 people. And that person, those 10 people are talking to 10 other people. And
Yeah.
it's everyone is just too connected and mingling,
Yeah.
And, well, now people don't want to settle down,
Mm-hmm.
Now people are not committing to one another. They're not putting up with each other at all. You got to put up with a little bit of stuff.
No,
A
actually,
little bit of BS.
but you were just mentioning the other day that the women are not even getting that many proposals that they used to get.
No, women. Well, I guess it goes both ways, right? And
Yeah.
there's arguments here, but like most divorces are initiated by women.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, it's women who are initiating the divorces. They're women are making just as much, if not more, when it comes to salaries. They're all just as educated. And it's a beautiful thing, but I also feel like it ruins the modern family, because I shouldn't say modern family, the old style or the old way of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
which worked in the past. Right now, Italy and Greece are paying people to go live there because the population is declining.
Declining.
Because
Yeah.
no one's having kids. Why is no one having kids?
I think Canada was also facing this issue before
Yeah.
they were, before the immigrants and
Yep.
different communities coming with a different mindset, right? But
Someone fell into that.
Mhm.
I'm 36 years old.
Yeah.
I'm unmarried. I don't have children.
yeah,
I wanted, but it wasn't like the end all be all.
Yeah.
But compare me to my mom. My mom gave up her government job
Mhm.
to raise 3 children and let my dad run the household.
Mhm.
Right? Whereas I'm like, no, I have my career. I don't need a man to run the household. We can
Yeah.
do it together.
yeah,
And there's it can lead, not in all cases, but it can lead to both parties are, women are going after their careers,
Yeah.
right? And they're not having kids as young. The new, people are having children when they're 40. Women.
I think that's actually a very big issue right now. Like, it's a big topic that I think it's a never-ending marathon. You don't even know that who you are marrying to, and then also you don't even know the career of that person or your of your partner is gonna, how it's gonna fit in your family or in your daily life, right?
Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to arranged marriages. I'm not opposed to it. And the reason I'm not is because families that know families, they're
Mm-hmm.
well connected.
Yeah.
They know if it's going to match.
Yeah.
You could learn to love somebody,
Mm.
right? We're all physically attracted at first, and we think
Yeah.
that that's it. Oh, they're nice. Oh, they're good looking. Oh, they work hard. These aren't the questions you ask.
Yeah.
The person you're going to live with the rest of your life and be attached to and have kids, you know?
Yeah.
The families intertwine, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do they treat your mother? How do they treat your father?
Yeah.
You know, what are your values? You know, what, I guess in some cases, you know, a poor girl could marry a rich man, but could a poor man marry a rich girl? It doesn't really
No.
usually work,
No.
right?
Some cases, yes. That's the thing. Less than one person. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But
But now we're dating and we don't know each other. Like you said, and we're jumping in bed,
yeah.
and there's no, I shouldn't say we're, I'm not that person, but I'm not in that category, but it's happening.
Yeah.
And there is no commitment on either end. I see it anyway.
But I think it's amazing that you are being Canadian, being born and brought up in North America, saying all these things. I think because you are facing those things, or you are not facing actually.
I'm seeing it.
You're seeing it,
Oh yeah.
right?
I can name like a few people off the top of my head, men and women. They're all in their 30s. Like, where were my parents in their 30s? They had 3 kids and a house and a career
Yeah.
and a lot of stress too. But, you know, that's what they had. And then, like, people in their 30s now, it's like, kids? No way. I want to finish, you know,
Yeah.
I want to go and get a 3rd degree and
Yeah.
study one more thing. I want to go and travel the world. Everyone's it's about me. And a lot of them are single and they claim to be happy. If they are, that's great.
But you really think they're happy? You don't have stress?
Um, I'm okay where I am right now. I actually go back and forth in my head all the time because I did want children.
Hmm.
Things didn't work the way that I thought that they were going to. Doesn't mean I can't,
Yeah.
but I am getting up there, right? And I think about it because I see other people with kids and they're stressed out and their whole life changes and they don't have money and
Mhm.
they can't do, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I have it good where I am. You know, I got an awesome boyfriend. I'm great. I have a good
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
Maybe I just keep it like that. But how many more people are thinking like that?
But I think there's still, this mind is running.
Mm-hmm.
I just mentioned a never-ending marathon.
Yeah.
It is actually that.
Yeah.
Like, even I'm happily married. I'm living my best life. I'm okay. No complaints. But still, this mind. Now I started podcasting. Even with this podcasting, always something going on.
It's a fast life.
Even not like forget about me. Like when I look at you, you are being on a good position, earning well, having everything here. You have your family here. You can visit. We don't even have our family here. It's back home, right? But still, those things. I'm still thinking, oh, okay. If she is struggling with some things that she's still struggling with even you're struggling with your mind or your thoughts. It's never-ending thoughts.
I went back to school.
Yeah.
I'm in school part time.
Yeah.
It's a fast life. Me more than I don't know if there's a lot of people like me, but I can't sit still. I'm constantly, and I realized you were kind of like that too.
Yeah.
You used to come into work and it
Yeah.
was slow. I was like, just relax.
Yeah.
No, like we're used to making calls. We're used to calls coming
Yeah.
through. We're used to chaos and
Yeah.
problems, and you know, and it's like, huh? There's nothing to do, and
Yeah.
you almost feel like there's a sense of loss of purpose.
Even like sometimes when I have nothing at my work, when I have slow day, I'm like, man, I'm not doing anything in my life,
Yeah, I know.
right? You think, oh, like, then you talk to someone
Right,
who is struggling in their life
right.
with or maybe on some other stage. Then you hear their problem. They say, go to hospital, then think about your life. You once go to hospital, you will feel where you are. And you will be so thankful to the God that, okay, I'm doing actually amazing.
It's perspective.
Yeah.
I could get on a whole other topic on that because it
Yeah.
is part of what I'm studying, you know,
Mhm.
and just kind of coming back to the self, like even just taking this moment to, you know, just enjoy the fact that, like, for instance, I had a very busy week. I had class 3 times this week. I had 2 friends of mine whose father passed away. And, you know, and then I was like, oh, you know, am I going to make this
Yeah.
would have been the day to sleep,
Yeah.
to rest. And I'm like, no, I'm going to come. I promised him I'm coming this
Yeah.
day, I'm going to come.
Yeah.
You know, the weekend is booked too, Saturday and Sunday. But I am on the go, but I'm very thankful to, get this opportunity. I'm like, this guy wants me to talk? Me? Sure, I'm gonna come, right? Who's gonna ask you to be in a podcast with, none of my friends even that I know, but, just being thankful for that, being thankful for the moment.
Well, what is woman role in dynamic family at this moment?
So I'm a little bit old school and new school.
And actually, I think you have to have that mixture for us.
You need it here in this country, you do.
Right?
And the reason I say that is because a woman is usually the one who keeps the household. There are gender roles. No matter what anybody wants to say, there are gender roles. And the reason I say that is this: if somebody comes to attack your family, are you the one going after that criminal? Your husband's usually the one. If there's a man in the house, usually the man.
Of course.
He's the one who's there. There are certain gender roles. Anyway, I'm sure there's some women who will watch this and be like, hell no, I'm gonna be the one with a bat going after him. But here, okay, they call it a double ghetto. Women are working full time because you need two people to work. You need them to work.
No,
You can't stay home.
that's a
anymore.
necessity right now.
Necessity. But then they also got to come home. They also got to cook. They also got to clean, do all the laundry, make sure all the kids are fed.
Yeah.
It's our innate nature to nurture and take care of our children, especially for the first 5-6 years of their life. It's not that we're more important than a man, but biologically they're coming out of our bodies. We're breastfeeding. They're attached to us. They've come out of us, and it's just like after 3 months, like go back to work.
Yeah.
And you can't stay home because you can't afford. And then it's also you're also kind of stuck because then you're paying like $1,200 to $1,500 in babysitting fees,
and you work
you're
for
working, right?
just to make that money.
And I can't imagine people on minimum wage.
Yeah.
I make good money, and that I'm thankful for. But I can't imagine people on minimum wage. How are they doing it?
I think they're. I think they're more happier than the people making more than minimum wage. Because sometimes you see people. Sometimes even a homeless person is more happier than he's standing on a traffic lights. He's more happier. He's playing his guitar or whatever. He's enjoying life, right?
Yeah.
And then you're sitting in the car. You're thinking about your work. You're thinking about your family. You're thinking about your growth. All those things, no?
I'm gonna say something to you. This came with maturity.
Yeah.
Why do we buy nice cars? For what? For stability?
No.
Right? We buy it to show off to other people. I got this Audi. I got this BMW. Whatever it is, right? Why do you need a big, gigantic home?
Yeah.
So you can host people. Who are you really working for? And I think at the end of the day, ask yourself that. So I got into holistic nutrition because I genuinely care about people and I want to help them feel better, look better, get better.
Yeah.
Started with me. I used to have stomach ailments. I healed from them with incorporating, what I learned. It's you got to find out what your why is. You see, because if you're just working for the dollar, you're going to die working for it. We all need it to live. It's a tool. We need money to live. You need to make a certain income so you can support your family and support your living space. But why do we go over extra and above? Why? I always said that if I became rich, I would not go and buy a Rolex.
Yeah.
Why? There's children starving.
I know.
There's people around the world that don't have a roof over their head. They're starving. And what I'm going to buy a $15,000 to $20,000 watch so I can show off to somebody else who has $15,000 to $20,000 watch. Because if you're showing off to people who can't afford it, all you're going to gain is evil eye.
Yeah.
People are not happy for you. They want what you have, and they don't want to work for it the same way you did.
But I think there is very few number of you talk about influencers or you talk about stars or whoever they are. There is very few number who are actually taking. There's actually I was watching a video on Instagram. There was somebody he was interviewing people on the road in America, but there was one girl. He asked, "Okay, what is your wish, or what is your thought of for this world?" She said, "Elon Musk has this $1 billion. If he actually has that money, why he cannot give money to this world or to people like us? If he's still gonna survive if he even distribute that money, in the population."
There is something that's biblical, and it's regarding like the rich. and it says it would be to compare a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven would be him trying to enter through the eye of a needle, if that makes sense, if you know how hard
Yeah,
that is.
yeah.
And it's a metaphor. It doesn't mean all rich people are going to hell. No, it doesn't mean that. That's if you believe in that. But it's more so, money ruins people.
It does.
It ruins people. We all want to show off. We all want to look a certain way because, well, here in this life, that's what people deem successful. That's what they, that's what they what's the word I'm looking for? Envy. If you really think about it, it's like no one really judges people on their heart. They judge on how they look,
Yeah.
and how beautiful they are, and how much money they have, and how
course.
successful.
But I think we're talking about these things. But when, like, even us,
We're sucked
Every-
into it.
right? Like, even I go to work, I still think about my growth. I still think about my paycheck.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we talked about work life. We talked about woman empowerment, or let's say woman role in in family. Then we talked about IT, or all this work from home and all that. But what do you think the relationship status of Canada is right now?
What do you mean?
Like, what is more singles, more married people?
Oh,
What is it?
definitely more singles. Definitely more singles. There are quite a few still getting married,
Mm-hmm.
but compared to 10 years ago or compared to our parents,
Yeah.
50-50. And if they are married, you can bet they'll be divorced in a couple of years. It's really just like that.
And what's the big reason?
There's more things being rubbed in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, a false reality.
Mm-hmm.
False opportunities. For instance, even with job hunting, you're at work, and how many of us are at work and Indeed pops up, or LinkedIn, oh, this job's available, and that job's available,
Oh, yeah.
and this one, and there's boom, boom, boom. Well, I could be a manager here, 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 here. Why would I go to any of these companies,
Yeah.
right? And I've been a product of that, where I got sucked in. I'm like, oh, maybe let me go check this out. Always keeping your eye open.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have a good employer, and that employer is bent over backwards to make sure you're taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
You have good coworkers, you get paid well, but yet still you want a little more. You're still curious. What's on the other side? Right?
Yeah.
And that can happen in relationships too. Dating apps pop up everywhere. It's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of the same recycled people.
Mhm.
That's a sad thing to say. I don't want to say that with disrespect. I don't. But I find, especially when you're all in the same age group and you're all from the same city,
Yeah.
you're mingling with a lot of the same people, or your friends are mingling with the same people,
Mhm.
and then you're mingling with them, and I'm not on the dating apps anymore, but I was at one point,
Yeah.
and I must ask my friend, like, do you know this guy? Because we're all from the same city,
He
and
probably knows.
it's like, no, I never did, or yeah, I did, I went out with him once, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Then again, like my sister, she married her husband, she met him off online.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, he met his wife online. So it's like, it brought people together, and then it also just disrupted them.
Yeah. But what do you think the future of Canadians, future of immigrants, or whatever it
I
is?
can tell you one thing. A lot of women, like all of my friends, are having trouble having children. All of them.
Really?
And it's scary.
What's
Our
the
food
reason?
supply. Our food supply is contaminated. Our water's contaminated. The things that they're using to make our clothes, all of the toxins that are in our makeup and our hair dyes, and it's too much. Why are they not having children? Why are they unable to? 4 of 5 of my friends are having issues.
That's actually a serious topic.
Fertility is another. We could go on for about 2 hours on that.
Okay.
Yeah, because is it the man or the woman, right?
Nobody
And it's
Nobody knows.
for the most in the situations of the people that I know, it's all the women are having issues, and they're
But-
developing.
But in our community, we see so many examples, and that's actually a harsh truth. We see so many examples saying that men is the reason,
Yeah,
and they end up having a divorce, then family issues, then family gets into that. I think those all things makes your relationship so weak. Like, I think so many examples. You go on social media, you will find so many examples. But where we are leading, what we are expecting from our life, or from you know from our people.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. More immigrants are coming. I think 1.5 million are due to come.
Yeah.
They better come up with some housing because again, it's just going to be an overflooded market with people looking for jobs. Schools all teaching the same thing. If everyone goes to school for business, then who's going to do the other trades work,
But
right?
we Punjabis, we always, if someone actually coming to Canada, we actually tell them, oh, just go for some skilled work.
Yeah.
Just go find something, like even the barber. Like, do something. I'm actually doing a podcast with barber. And when I was thinking to make my guest list, so many guys were like, oh, barber, you want to bring the story of barber? I was like, yes. That is actually much needed than bringing somebody from IT or from some service industry. People should know what a handyman can make in this country.
Mhm.
What a handyman can do to his life and to his family. So that being said, so many guys, actually, so many viewers will be thinking, oh, Anmol is speaking in English. They will like a person like me doing a podcast in English. Like if
You
I,
do a pretty good job.
but 6-7 years ago, I struggle. Even the last year.
What did I always say to you though? Didn't matter the way you carry yourself.
Yeah.
The way you carry yourself,
Yeah.
right? Make people take you serious. That's okay. You don't speak the language, but you're handsome and you put on your suit and you do
Mhm.
your hair and you still present yourself a certain way and you assert that respect.
Yeah.
You might be still treated a different way.
Of course.
But yeah, no, the English is
You remember that
you kill me.
you.
I just rip on you though.
No, you remember that thing? You put your leg in my shoe. So, actually, I was in the meeting.
I think it's an inside joke. The viewers wouldn't get it.
No, we can tell them, but no. Actually, no. So many viewers will be like, oh, they will be shocked. I'm speaking English, but I think
We can translate this, right, with subtitles?
I will try. That's
it.
a lot of work.
Really? You can't just
I'm not a professional. I just started.
get some
podcast.
subtitles.
I will try. But I think it's the way I went to school, but not for English. I went to work. Yes, for English. I think you are one of the main reasons that my English is, a little better. Because before you, even in our company, all Punjabis.
Our owner wanted to, put, put a sign at everyone's desk saying, "Speak in English." I'm like, I'm not doing that.
But he's Punjabi too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think.
It's your native tongue when it
Yeah.
comes out.
But I think.
But like anybody, listen.
Oh, you know Punjabi, no?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you know?
Hanji.
You know Hanji,
Tika.
Tika, Sasrika.
Sasrika.
Okay, so it was amazing talking to you. Thank you for coming on the show. This will be first English podcast on my channel, but it's actually amazing. I think maybe viewers also got a lot of things to know through you, and I think maybe you have like this podcast is nothing. Like it's not possible, but I want some people to just sit with you and talk about life, and then they will get to know what you are actually, because it's always amazing talking to you. Like it's always motivation and all those things, right? Comes like the good vibe comes from you, right? So thank you again. Thank you for coming, and I think this podcast will hit the social media, and
Don't tag me.
I will actually.
No.
And thank you.